You are now listening to The Project. To The Project. To The Project. Where we stop at nothing to bring you the right facts on health, fitness, and psychology. Featuring some of the world's most experienced professionals so you can learn, lift, and live. With your hosts, Meg, Dr.D, and Mahdi. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of The Project, and we are coming to you live from the Volvo Showroom here in Kuwait. And we'd like to give a big thank you to the guys over at Volvo for hosting us here in this amazing venue, checking out these awesome cars over here. Thank you guys at Volvo, we really appreciate it, and enjoy the show. All this and more in today's episode.
Would you guys like to hear Dr. Dinka sing? To be fair, when you guys do listen to our show, a lot of our episodes, you'll hear me break out in song at the beginning of an episode, and that breaks the ice a little bit. All right, so since it's a psychology theme thing, I think Dr. D should sing the song I Feel Pretty. Who knows that song? Will you sing it for us? Who can get us started here?
Who can sing it? I don't
Come on,
know.
who can get us started?
Nobody sings here?
I feel pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, so pretty. And so witty. Come on, guys, don't leave me hanging here. What's going on? And I pity any girl who isn't me today.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the song, right?
Is that right? Yeah.
All right, so who's seen the movie?
Who's seen that?
One person? Yeah, anger management. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. My 90s crowd is here now. All right. You guys are in trouble. So let's start this off real quick. What HBO series popularized psychology in the 90s? Whoever answers this question gets a t-shirt. What?
Yeah.
We got a winner over there.
Wow. Yay.
Here you go, buddy. So we're The Project, health, wellness, and psychology podcast. We are available on all of your major streaming platforms. The show is run by me, Dr. D, Haya, Meg, who's also in the United States. We have 2 episodes a week. One is centered around fitness, and the other one is on psychology.
That's right.
Something Dr. D is very good at, and I chime in every now and then with some useless
You have a lot of
information.
knowledge, actually. I taught you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you definitely did.
And you still remember it. That's good.
She learned a lot, too, in the Drugs, People, and Problems class.
I did, yeah.
What class is that?
But that was with Dr. Connerly.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sensation-seeking behavior.
Oh, that's it.
Did
It was like a substance abuse class.
Yes, yeah.
No, the one thing I remember is the roller coaster thing. About how why people like roller coasters. It's the fear of death without the actual death part.
Yeah.
So how's COVID for everybody right now in terms of mental health? I mean, you got a free psychologist right now.
Free service. Who wants to tell me their feelings? You guys tired of COVID? Yeah. But has it been positive for some people? Yeah. In which way has it been positive? More sleep? Was
That was a good thing.
Sleep? Did you say sleep? Wallah, I still don't sleep. What else could it? How has COVID-19 been positive? More time in family. I agree with that. What else? Why don't you guys come here? I can't hear you. Come. You don't need to stand.
It's okay, I know him. He's shy.
Oh, he's shy. Come, so we can hear you. With the mask, kind of like it's difficult. More savings, which we're spending now, by the way. It was nice, but now it's gone. That's true. What else? How else has COVID been nice? No school. At least I don't have to drive my kids to school. That's been an amazing feeling. What else? Oh, watching a lot of movies. Netflix made a lot of money. Yeah. And TV shows to catch up on everything. But now we're bored. We don't have anything new. Right?
Do you guys think it's reshaped your behavior coming back out into public? Who's again, I'll ask the question, who's scared here? Nobody? Just me?
Why are
Did
you
everyone get a swab? Did everyone get a swab before they came here?
Why are you scared?
I'm anxious.
Why
when
are
I
you
go in public.
anxious?
I get anxious now. She can
Yeah.
attest to this. I freak out.
Really?
Yeah, like I
What are
freak
you
out. If I
worried
lose
about?
my hand sanitizer, I'm almost crying.
Poor DJ.
No, it's true. Yeah.
But what are you worried about?
Well, I mean, we all know that we put these fears in our head and we assume things. And I'm just worried about picking something up and not cleaning my hands and then touching my nose or touching my eye. And just that fear of contracting an illness that I am unaware of the unaware scares me. And it freaks me out. I get anxious about it.
The unpredictable or yeah. But if you exercise social distancing, you wear your mask, then there's nothing to worry about.
Well, I mean, tell that to me when I'm in the avenues.
Do you know I haven't been to the avenues? It's the only place I don't want to go. Maybe it's my own anxiety, huh? No, but I don't have an anxiety about that. I just don't feel like I need to be in the avenues.
Makes sense.
Like I want to be in a smaller place.
Yeah.
Who's been to the avenues here? Yeah.
All of you? My God. How many have been to the avenues in the afternoon? Is it crowded? Yes? And what do? How do you stay away from people? Mix with everyone. Whatever happens, happens.
That's really the safest thing to do. Who knows what a hypochondriac is? This is a psychological term here. Who knows what a hypochondriac is?
That's right. When you're obsessed about illnesses.
My wife's right here. Ask her if I'm a hypochondriac. She'll tell you. So do you think it's a bad thing or a good thing? Bad thing.
Yes.
But isn't there a silver lining where it could be a good thing? Because you are overcautious. Hey, I'm trying to justify it right now, all right?
You can't be hypochondriac and be a good thing. It's a diagnosis in the DSM-5. Not a good thing.
No.
I got a lot of diagnoses in the DSM-5.
But I mean, think about it. Why is hypochondriac not a good thing? It can get out of hand, right? And then he gets really obsessed about different disorders. And then I have these patients that will go from a doctor to a lab and a lab. I mean, some people spend so much money getting different lab results and, test results. And then the person says there's nothing wrong with you. They'll go to another doctor because they think this doctor doesn't know what they're talking about. And can you imagine living like that? How would that feel? Like thinking every time somebody says there's something wrong with them, then you feel like there's something wrong with me. Also, just living in that anxiety, it's not healthy at all. So you need to quit your hypochondria.
Well, she keeps me in check on that stuff. So.
Oh yeah, what do you do, Haya?
I don't respond.
Actually, to be fair, she just tells me to go home.
No, because also part of that behavior is also attention seeking.
Yeah.
So if you don't feed into it.
Whoa.
Oh, burn.
Behavior. Not necessarily with you.
So are you my wife or what's going on here? You just throwing me under the bus?
I did not specifically said you. If you are projecting,
But she's
that's
right.
on
It's
you.
attention-seeking behavior.
Anyone who thinks, hey, just dissed me, raise your hand, please. Yep, there we go. Yes, there we go. She said I was...
You invited me to be on this panel. This is your own fault.
You did.
Moving on, Dr. D. No, I'm just joking. But no, she's right.
True.
It's true. It is a true statement. And it's one of those things, personally, it's not attention-seeking for me. Because when there is something wrong, I don't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And she knows that.
See, that's where the treatment happens. Like when you feel like something is wrong with you, don't go to the doctor. Unless it really gets severe, because this is what happens, is that as soon as you go to the doctor, then it feeds into that cycle again, right? The obsession, I need to go to the doctor, I go to the doctor, then I'm okay. And then again, another person says, I have something wrong with me. There's a bump, a scratch, a cough. And the more you go to the doctor, the more it becomes a problem. So don't go to the doctor.
Because it's enabling.
And
right?
don't give him, exactly,
Yeah.
It's enabling. And don't give him attention. So you're fine.
Sorry, not attention.
We just
seeking,
cured
enabling.
you.
I'm not an enabler. There. Clarified.
So when you do listen to the show on the app, you will realize Dr. D is psychoanalyzing me most of the time, too, along with everybody else. But also don't Google things. I think Googling for
Google.
hypochondriacs is really bad. It's something, once you go down that rabbit hole, all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. When in reality, you didn't seek medical attention. You didn't get the proper tests done. And, you just go down that rabbit hole of Google and it just can be really bad. And I think we've all been there.
I mean, Google can have good benefit, like if you're trying to search for something to understand. But with people I work with, so you'll give them, for example, they have a medication and then they'll go Google it. And then, of course, pharmaceutical companies wants to be comfortable and they want to make sure that they cover all their aspects. So they're going to be, 0.1% of person that can have certain side effects from medication. And then that 0.1%, the person kind of researches it and it comes and says, oh my God, it says I'm going to have this, I'm going to have this. It's addictive, especially with psychotropic medications, right? And then that's when I say, stop Googling. You can't research this stuff because you're not a medical person. You don't understand. And actually, even Panadol, if you research it, there is a 0.1% that says you could be addicted to it. It can give you some side effect. Actually, it can also have an effect on your liver. So the idea is that anything you can Google, you'll find some sort of a side effect. But people get really obsessed with this Google thing that I feel like we need to stop. We should use it. Not everything is black and white. There should be some moderation. You should get the information, but at the same time, I don't think you need to research everything. You can become obsessed. A headache. You get a headache, you Google, why do I have a headache? It can give you a lot of reasons why you have a headache, which might not be why you have a headache.
Right now, medicine is showing us that the best medicine is through movement, taking care of our bodies, and just overall health and well-being. With COVID and with what Dr. D was talking about, the benefits, who tried to start some new movement strategy during the lockdown? Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I started off with different programs with physical movement, and I felt like they ultimately change your perspective on sorts of things. Like if you were going out and you're feeling anxious, for example, like you said, when you were scared to be in public places because of COVID, I found that moving around constantly throughout the day and having a set time where you would work out and stuff, it would decrease the level of anxiety that you'd feel, and overall your relationships with other people also tend to get better. But that was a huge difference, I felt.
No, and it's true. I mean, movement does release endorphins, makes us feel better, makes us feel more confident. Who else went towards the movement exercise strategy during the lockdown? Because let's face it, it's real easy. Say, okay, I'm in lockdown. I can sit on a chair all day and watch, Friends reruns for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So who chose Friends reruns and who chose running around outside? Or, around the perimeter of their house? What? Mixture of both? Yeah. That was probably for the better part of most of us. But who went out for walks during the 1 hour, release time?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Who saw the benefit in that? Who enjoyed it?
It's nice seeing other people during it was more about seeing other people than the actual walking. Because you get tired of those people you're
She got tired of seeing me every day. Didn't stop her from going on walks.
So it's just nice to and then everyone walked. Even before this year, I would never go out on walks here. My entire movement was either in the gym or sports. But I saw so many people walking that never walked before.
Who else wants to share a little story about their walks? I mean, for instance, I taught my son how to ride a bike during our walks. I loved it. I love that time. Who else? Crickets? More crickets? Kickboxing and Muay Thai as a family. Okay. Which one of your brothers did you kill first?
Actually, that reminds me, the other day I was driving by where, we were walking, and I kind of missed that because now there's cars everywhere, right? And then nobody's walking anymore. And in a way, I feel like it was so nice to not have anybody drive. Everyone was walking. Life was simpler. And we were able to, discover different areas in my neighborhood, at least. There were things I never would have realized if I wasn't forced to walk for 2 hours instead of driving. So the other day I was thinking, I really miss those times where we had 2 hours where you walked, you saw everyone else walking, things, and now no one's walking and no one walks in the neighborhood except one person, she's still walking. But it's so sad in a way because now we're back to that rush life where we're rushing from one place to another to do this, to do that. And at that time, I felt it was so simple. I taught online and then I put my gym shoes on. I took my kids and we walked and you could walk in the street. You don't have to worry about your kids crossing because there's nobody else driving. And you finally get to meet your neighbor that, you hardly ever meet now. So in a way, I kind of miss it.
So you were talking about slowing down. And I know during COVID, everyone was talking about how it's nice to kind of press that pause button. So I want to know, did any of you take that and implement it into your lives now? Pressing that pause button or spending more time with your family? or slowing down a little bit or went straight back into it.
That's so sad. It was nice to have a pause. It's nice to not run and be committed. It was nice to like wake up and not have any other commitment except my classes or my clients. I don't know. I feel sad that we have to go back so quickly.
Yeah.
So in a way, COVID was nice for me because I felt like it calmed me down. And because, I work many jobs, if you know anything about me, and I am everywhere. And of course, I have the teaching, and then I have the clinic, and then I have consulting. I feel like I didn't even see my kids. And suddenly it was so nice for someone to force me to have that pause. And now I feel like we're going back again.
Mm-hmm. It's so easy to get back into that cycle, though.
Yeah, it
because
is.
As soon as we're out, there's almost this pressure to keep going and moving and not stopping. Mm-hmm. And COVID was a nice excuse, but now that everything's open again, there's almost a guilt if you slow down again. Mm-hmm. And that's stopping people from taking that break.
But I mean, if you learn something from it, for instance, I learned that I enjoy spending time with my son more. And I still try to practice our morning walks every morning, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes. These are the small things that I appreciated about COVID that it taught me to slow down and try to continue that mentality. And much of that even goes to my fitness life and my wellness life and how I deal with myself. And I think right now we're heading into the tougher time of the year. Dr. D, we were talking about this the other day, where it's, it's the season, it's winter, days are shorter. It's a little bit tougher on the bones if you're a little bit older, especially working out. Feel like everything's breaking. You're tired all the time. So has the weather shifted anyone else's mentality in here? Show of hands. Anyone? Yeah.
Do any of you feel like you don't want to do anything in the winter? Like it's cold, right? And you feel like you don't want to get up in the morning. You feel like you don't have the energy. And when you go to bed, you're freezing and your body is like a box, right? And so do you guys notice that you have a mood change when it's winter versus summer? How many of you like winter though? How many of you do not like winter? Yeah. When we say you don't like winter, what is it you don't like about it? It's cold. What else? Gets dark early. That's right. So our melatonin gets decreased, right? Do you ever feel sad? You feel like no energy. You don't want to see anyone. We want to hibernate in the house. It takes energy to put clothes on. Get excited about any events. And so if you do, it doesn't mean, there's a lot of other symptoms, but we call that, it's part of depression, but it's called, seasonal affective disorder, where people only get depressed starting in the fall until March, which is the spring. And then they feel very happy after March until September, October. And then October, their mood starts to decrease, where they just, feel depressed and feel like they are, don't feel like motivated to do anything. So, depression, I don't know. A lot of people talk about depression as of a lot of people throw the word depression around I'm depressed, but technically you have to meet certain criteria to be depressed. But there are people that are just depressed during winter time and not during summertime. And so if you're one of those people that, it doesn't mean that you are, but if your energy gets lower, you want to sleep more, you lose interest in a lot of activities, during the winter, then you're probably feeling the same thing as people that, have these seasonal affective disorder. So the sunlight affects it. That's why when people have seasonal affective disorder, there's a V light that they use during the winter, so that way they can replace the melatonin. So the idea is that because it's getting darker, so we're not getting as much as serotonin increased, melatonin increases. So that's what makes them more depressed. So it has a lot to do with the sunlight. And it has a lot to do with the happy hormone, or whatever you guys call it, norepinephrine and serotonin. So they are not activated as much. And light really activates a lot of our happy hormones. So the less it is. And if you have genetic, if you're already genetically inclined to be depressed because it's in your family, people that have genetic depression, then they could actually have a seasonal. Women after babies, they can have postpartum. So they're more at risk. And no sunlight. That's why one of the way to treat that, like the seasonal depression, is to have a light. There's a certain light you can order. A lot of our patients have to be on it, at least an hour a day, so they can replace some of that light, missing the light.
I wonder what the behavioral therapist over there has to say about all this. She's done a stint with psychology in the States. I'm going to call her out.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
She
Hannah,
should
come
be
on, jump
here.
in. Yeah, jump in over here.
Come.
Well, we left a chair open.
We left a
So
chair.
it's got your name all over it. Are you shy? Are you suffering from sad? I think you are. Are you not feeling motivated right now?
Let the therapist speak.
I think she's shy. It's all right. You can chime in. You're smart.
Yeah, tell me.
I'm curious to what your take is on what we're talking about.
On seasonal affective?
Yeah, on seasonal affectiveness disorder.
So you are practicing behavioral therapist? Okay. And do you see people are depressed or what kind of... Oh, you work with children. Stay that way. Adults are complicated.
She's absolutely amazing, by the way.
Oh, well, I'm sure. He's promoting you.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a publicity stunt. He's doing well. And you haven't changed his behavior? Wow.
I tried for 30 years. It hasn't worked.
Look, I've been trying since 2006. When did I meet him? Didn't work. And then I decided I'll just join. Why change? What was that saying?
Really?
Yeah, we all did. We were happy, Haya said yes. She was at AUK at the same time, and I said, thank you so much. This is much needed.
Yeah, you were the only one.
Yeah. But we love him, We can't live without Mahdi.
I know everybody loves me, but that's all good. Real quick question, though, for everybody here. Who thinks psychology has become more mainstream in Kuwait?
Yes, please.
Who thinks it's okay to say, hey, I'm seeing a therapist right now? Is that stigma still there?
I've seen an increase in my caseload, actually, since COVID. And a lot of times people are either feeling lonely or worried about, having corona or, losing people and also that grief. Remember, the idea is that you're grieving the ability to be out. So when suddenly we're not able to see our friends or family and we're locked in the house, that's a lot of, grief, that's a loss. It's true. But, people have become more educated. Do you guys still think it's stigma to go to a psychologist? No? If you need to go to a psychologist, would you guys go? Yeah? And now you can do it online. No one will know you're doing it. Before people like, oh, I don't want to come to the office. I might see someone that knows me. And now most people are using the service. We have this telehealth now, apps that we could do. I'm in Sahati, and it's nice. People can book online. And actually, Sahati is for all doctors. So you can book online and you can consult with a doctor, or you can consult with a therapist, a psychologist, whatever you want. And no one will know because it's very private. And no one, you could be in your room talking to me and no one would know that, or any other doctor. So I'm glad that we're sophisticating in that area, just in case people feel leery about coming to the office.
How about we move into 2021? Who thinks it's going to be a good year? Who's ready to see some aliens? Come on. Who's ready to see some aliens? I know we're all ready for that one. Either that or an atomic bomb, something. I don't know. Someone said it can't get any worse. And I looked at him. I was like, dude, don't say that. Do not say those words right now, because I think it can. But moving into the new year, we're all luckily right now, the gyms have reopened. We got life rolling again. Who's looking at, the positive of 2021, the positive side of it? Who's starting to formulate some, wellness goals? Let's not call it, I want to get skinny and look like the person in the magazine, because no, they're on a bunch of drugs and plastic surgery.
That was the only thing on my list.
Steroids and genetics and all that stuff. But who has realistic, attainable goals? And, I could throw it to the HR specialist down there. I mean, he probably knows about key performance indicators. But in general, though, who's ready to start the new year off right? From a wellness perspective, what's one wellness thing you're aiming to do in 2021? You thought of that at all? Such a broad question, right? There's so many different aspects.
Well, have you guys thought about 2021? I mean, it's only a couple more days. No? You don't want to think about it? No. This time you're not thinking about it? So you've learned a lesson from 2020? So why prepare for anything? Sounds like a good idea. So 2021, yesterday, my son is in boarding high school. So yesterday, while we were on FaceTime, so he showed me that he and his cousins were working on this vision board. I was like, oh, that's nice. I'm glad that you're 15 and you're thinking about vision board. And he had pictures of things that he's going to try to work on for 2021. It's nice. None of them said he was going to lose weight, but it's okay. So he was like, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to have more friends. I want to have this style of clothing. What else? Some stuff were expensive for mom. So I said, we need to remove it. And I'm going to travel. He said, I'm like, well, great. I'm glad you're traveling. Who's paying, So it's but it was nice. I think we should all have a vision board.
Yeah.
He's 15 and he had one. And then he said, Mom, do you have one? I said, no, I'm just happy we're going into 2021.
Who's circling their ideas of wellness around weight? Who thinks weight is an indication of good health?
Weight?
Weight, like your body weight. Who thinks body weight is an indication of good health? Does anyone? Okay, if you're not over the age of 30, do not follow me on Instagram. All right, let's get that out there, okay? And if you are with any of the brands that I've dissed in the last 2 years, I'm sorry, okay? But no, in general, I just want to put it out there that when we do set our wellness goals or our health and wellness goals for the coming year, we have to be realistic and we have to know that weight is not the single and most important indication that we are healthy individuals and that we are leading a healthy lifestyle. You can see some skinny people that are leading a very unhealthy lifestyle, and they are doing everything in the book that is almost wrong by indications of health, by consuming of 800 calories per day and taking diet pills and doing all these weird, crazy things that you see on social media and in magazines. That's not health. Health is a very well-rounded approach to your day-to-day life, from sleep, food, mobility, and just moving better and thinking of it's not how I look, but what I can do.
That's my line.
I stole it from you. She can lift about 350 pounds off the ground, 160 kilos off the ground. Kuwait's strongest woman right here. Hands down, she's Kuwait's strongest woman. She has several records in Battle of the East. She has broken her left arm in 2 different places.
Yeah.
And she has rehabbed herself back in less than a year and is competing in 2 weeks. And she is the perfect example of what your body can do and the fitness level that we should try to strive to get to so that we can be capable of leading a healthy life well into our 60s and 70s.
But that's it. I think the goal here isn't necessarily, I want to look a certain way, but I want to move a certain way. I want to be able to go up and down the stairs comfortably when I'm 80. I want to be able to get up and down a chair when I'm older. Fitness isn't looking a certain way. It's making sure that your bones and your joints and your muscles will help you move when you're older. So you're not scared if you fall, you're going to break your hip because you know that you've built it enough to hold you.
And for women, it's more important because you guys are more prone to osteoporosis.
Yeah, women lose bone density at a much higher rate than men. But strength training increases your bone density.
She is a trainer and she offers a class called Booty and Barbells. Okay.
I teach you how to squat, deadlift, and pull.
She wanted women to feel empowered by holding a barbell. But when you give them a barbell, they get scared and they say we don't want to get bulky. But in reality, our genetic makeup between a female and a male is completely different. And she did a really smart thing by saying booty and barbells because, no offense, ladies, everyone's like, oh, booty, okay. I'm going to jump on that train.
And barbells.
And barbells. But, so, yeah, I'm going to stop there. Quick exercise. Think of one aspect of your lifestyle right now that you want to change in 2021 from a health perspective. Think of one aspect, one small thing, whether it's tying your shoes so your lower back doesn't hurt, or reaching up above your head and getting your arms to extend fully up. Think of one aspect that you want to work on for 2021. All right, take a minute, think about that, and let's share. All right, a little less than a minute. Okay, it's too quiet for me. Who's got something?
You drink a lot of sodas? Okay. So you want to stop drinking soda.
So as Meg would say, don't cut something out, add something in.
Yeah.
So a good thing is instead of programming your mind to say, I need to stop drinking A, B, C, and D, reprogram it saying, I'm just going to drink more water. So your mind is thinking more instead of less.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's
Yeah,
a good
Meg.
one.
Gotta
Bringing
love
Meg
Meg.
in there.
Yeah, we gotta love Meg. Anyone else?
Something that they want to change.
Look, you could say, I want to lose weight. I want to tone up. Those are the number one questions I always get asked as a trainer is, Coach, how do I tone up? Well, there's a lot that goes into that. It's why do you want to tone up? What do you want to do to get there? If you want to look like the guy on the magazine, well, it's really difficult. If you want to run better, increase, your capacity and your endurance, well, that's easy. You just have to be consistent. But consistent at what? Is it go to the gym on January 1st and say, all right, I'm going to do this whole health thing. I'm going to go do a CrossFit class. You go do CrossFit for the first time, you get the wrong trainer, or you go and you run 5 kilometers. Guess what? You're going to hurt the next day. And do you think you're going to go and do it again? All right, now flip it to, I want to get healthier. I want to increase my VO2 max. I want to do this, my conditioning, everything. I'm going to take a walk around the neighborhood on January 1st. Which one are you more likely to do more consistently for the rest of that month? Doing the 5K run every day or walk around the block and then slowly increasing it? To be fair, it's not just CrossFit out there, guys. I mean, who's familiar with CrossFit? Does anyone know what it is? Okay. Anyone else? All right. If you try CrossFit, you will not get hurt. Okay. I just want to put that out there because you'll hear that. But it's not just CrossFit. There's F45. There is yoga, there's Pilates.
There's booty and barbells.
Booty and barbells. Do you offer that class to guys too?
I can teach anybody the foundations of barbell work.
What about booty work?
Booty booty.
I want the booty.
Even men can work on their
will
booty.
lead to a strong lift. Don't underestimate.
But the point is not to be dogmatic about one thing out there. And a lot of the fitness industry, when we get into a fitness modality, sometimes we dive deep down that rabbit hole and we only stay with that, where it's only calisthenics. I was guilty of this. I'll come out and say the beauty about the project is I have talked to professionals from all over the world and it has changed my perspective. And now I'm more open to listen to anything. If you say bodybuilding, I'll say, yeah, bodybuilding's great if you're looking for like hypertrophy or whatever. Or F45. My cousin introduced me to that last year. And I think she was shocked when I said, wow, that's actually pretty good. I like that. That sounds like something that's really fun. The thing is to find something that you're going to enjoy and can be consistent about when you're leading into 2021 and setting those goals into a realistic perspective. And if your goal is weight loss, because 90 to 100% of us want that, don't go for a kilo a week. It's not 1 kilo a week. That's extremely difficult. Go for 0.25 a week or even less. Do it the healthy way. And this is coming from a guy that weighed 120 kilos at one point. And I lost that weight in 2 years? 2 years it took me to kind of take that weight off. Then I got into CrossFit, and that's where I was like, all right, I love this as a sport. I want to be competitive. And my coach told me it's going to be a long, grueling process. And I did the boring stuff. I had small wins. So who thinks they could set a goal for small wins within the first 2 months of the year so that they can stay consistent throughout the rest of the year? What's a small goal someone could share with us that they thought of right now that they could set for 2021? Something small that they can achieve within a month and that snowball for the rest of the year, assuming the aliens don't eat us. Taking your pills? Okay. Yoga twice a week? All right. Yoga's really good, but really difficult for people like me. Now, here's a question. How could you hold yourself accountable? Where's your level of accountability to yourself? Results. How can we measure it? There we go. I'm guessing marketing? That's why. See, it's the marketing people with the brains back there. Sorry, no diss on HR. I am HR, by the way. I do human resources, but I'm not as good as that guy. He's marketing. You're HR as well? All right. Yeah, they'll fire people. But yeah, if you do that and you set those objectives, but what makes you feel accountable at the end of the day? Like for me personally, After a workout, I do CrossFit competitively. After a workout, if I go in the mirror and I'm disappointed in myself, I can't sleep. I'm tossing and turning. You know, it's the man in the mirror. You guys ever measure yourself in that way, just out of curiosity? No? All right. Who says yes? There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. Throw the scale away.
One thing you said that was very makes sense is like I think people are not realistic. Like this is like a student who's getting a D and says to me, "How can I get an A?" And we only have 2 more weeks left for the semester. That's not realistic, right? And not everyone is meant to get an A, and not everyone is supposed to be a B person. I mean, we all have our own capabilities. Not everyone's going to be a doctor. Not everyone's going to be a lawyer, an engineer. We all have different skills, and we all have to be able to tap into that. So I think like New Year's resolution, like I never do them, to be honest, just because I feel like, and I tell my clients never to do them because I feel like they're unrealistic. And a lot of times people put really high goal, like I'm going to lose 50 pounds by I don't know what. And it doesn't make sense. I think we need to be honest with ourselves. And I think a lot of people are not honest with themselves. We all want to be able to look like, you know, that supermodel that's on TV or the guy that has a 6-pack. And, you know, I'm never going to be a size 0. Genetically, I'm not going to be. I love food too much. And I just realized, you know, all my life I thought, oh, I could just do it. And then I realized it doesn't make sense to me. And I have to be honest with myself and I have to understand that these are my capabilities. So if more of you could be honest with yourself of the things that you really can do, instead of thinking of all the awesome things you can achieve, which you could sometimes later, but, you know, just be realistic and then you won't be disappointed. I think we put a lot of high standard for ourselves and other people, and we're constantly disappointed in life. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why people become depressed. It's that they're disappointed. They're disappointed at themselves. They're disappointed at the people around them because we have high expectation. And I usually tell people, look at expectation as 0 to 5. 5 being high expectation, 0 being none. You should stay between the 1 and 2. That's it. So 0, 1, 2, that's expectation. You go up to 5, you're risking. You're going to be disappointed, which in return makes you feel awful and terrible and angry and frustrated. And then we're depressed again. So keep it that. So the same thing as you require that of people, you should do that yourself. So no, it doesn't make sense that I'm going to lose 20 kilo this year. I would love to, but that ain't going to happen. But I know that I could do 5 kilo a month or in 2 months or 3 months. I know my capability. Look, Mahdi always wants me to go to the gym, which it should be a good idea. I mean, and sometimes I ask him. So he says, you should go to the gym. You would like it. And I say, Mahdi, look, I have to be honest with myself. A, I don't like gyms at all. And B, I like to work out in the house. I have a trainer who comes, works out. I finish, I take a shower, and then I see my students virtually. It's realistic for me. Me going, taking my bag, going to the gym, working out, and then seeing someone I know, and then they want to ask me about their problem. I don't want that. And I'm, you know, not that I'm a private person, but I just like my time for me. And so it's realistic. So to go and, you know, I could convince myself to do CrossFit, but I won't continue. I think be realistic, and it's okay. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to realize that you are only capable of doing certain things, and then you'll be more successful.
It goes true to Haya's sport. I think this is one of the most difficult sports, which is, you know, powerlifting. Well, I mean, look, it's difficult for them, but easy for CrossFitters. Okay, we demolish the powerlifters. All right, but no, she works all year to put half a kilo on additional on the bar. Some people will work 3 years to add their max weight or their PR, their personal best, a quarter kilo. And, you know, these are guys that have done it their whole lives.
But that's what all sports, though. You're always trying to get a little bit faster or a little more accuracy, or there's always just small little adjustments you can make in sports or even in academia or whatever you're doing. Like just what we're talking about. It's not these huge changes you should be looking at, but these small incremental ones that are going to eventually add on and snowball into something else. Mm-hmm. That's what the focus should be on.
No, it's true. And I got a question for all the corporate people here tonight, the guys that work in big companies. Who thinks the goals that the organization sets for them are realistic throughout the year?
Definitely not.
All right. Who doesn't think the goals that are set for them throughout the year are achievable? Who thinks they overshoot? Who thinks corporate over? Yep, we got one hand there. Come on, marketing, really? Oh my God, there's so much pressure was put on me when I was in marketing, and it was all done by HR. Like HR would sign off on the KPIs, and the KPIs would be so unattainable. Like a 30% increase in sales. It's like, dude, are you kidding me? Are you giving me like a 30% higher budget to deal with throughout the year? I mean, realistically, and that's going to happen in every corporation. It does happen, and even with classes. I mean, I'm sure you guys see Dr. Dinkle will be like, look, I want this standard, and you're like, dude, that standard's so hard to achieve, right? We all think it as students.
I don't have a standard for my student, but I have standard for the quality of work that they got to do, which is like, attainable, I think, if they put some effort. I don't think that other people put high expectation on us. I think we put our high expectations.
But corporate usually puts really high expectations, right, over there?
But they probably think they're attainable,
right?
No? If you're able to move beyond that disappointment and make it drive you, and I think it's true. I think I think about my life, and the reason I've become the person I've become because I was so disappointed in life many, many times, actually. And sometimes big ones, sometimes small ones. And it has made me a better person. It made me a strong person. It's created resiliency in me. I know there's nothing is going to happen to me that I can't handle, and because of my disappointments. But at the same time, I think that those disappointments, I should have just lowered them a little bit or dealt with them differently. But you're right. I think disappointment makes us better. It taps into our psychological immune system, which is the resiliency, and therefore makes you stronger, if you could do that. So I think background, genes, personality traits really play a big role on the way we handle disappointments. But you're right. I don't think we're going to live life without disappointment. But I think it's not the disappointment we can avoid, but how we deal with them is very important. How many of you have been disappointed in your life? I'm sure a lot of you, right? They're so terrible, these disappointments, especially when it comes to like relationships where you like really trusted someone and you loved someone and then they disappointed you, or like your parents disappointing you because they promised or you thought that they were going to be a safe zone and they're not, or your friends. They're not there. It's an ugly feeling, but it happens, right?
Who gets disappointed in their bosses? Oh, sorry. You guys can't answer
I can't answer that either.
No, okay. Oh, you can't answer that either?
No, of course not.
She's my boss. I get disappointed all the time. But my feelings don't matter.
But no, it's honestly,
I'm just joking.
I think when you're disappointed with your boss, what do you do then?
Yeah, what do you do?
You do not want to ask me.
What can you do when you're disappointed at your boss? Like get rid of your boss?
No, you just tell him straight up.
I'm disappointed
I've
at you.
almost gotten fired
and he's
for
gonna
that.
say whatever.
I got sent home a couple times.
Because you told your boss you're disappointed at him?
Yeah, I told him what I thought.
And you went home.
No,
Did
he sent me home.
Did he change?
Yeah, he stopped talking to me.
But he didn't change. You went home.
No, he sent me home.
I know. So
and then he didn't talk to me.
Exactly. So that doesn't help to tell your boss you're disappointed at him. What you need to do is learn to deal with your boss's disappointment.
Yeah, but if he's an idiot.
Learn to deal with him being an idiot.
Come on. We all go through those moments where we're like walking away and we're like, oh man, he's such an idiot. Trust me, he ain't listening to this podcast. All right. And I have a new boss now, so he's cool. He's cool. Abdullah, if you're listening, yeah, man, you're awesome, dude. No, I mean, but those are things that sometimes that I have done that other people won't do. Where if I truly believe in what I'm doing, I back it up 100% and I move forward with it. And sometimes my management or my managers, they didn't like what I had to say. They didn't like the reality of what I was saying. And they didn't like that the process was going to take 3 months and not 1 month, which we all know sometimes is the case. And it's like everything in life now, we want it's like.
But that's about managing expectations more than like managing disappointment.
Yeah.
Because then you have to set up the conversation and set those boundaries and say that these are the expectations for everybody, and then you move from there.
Yeah, like an evaluation. Well, you're in HR, right? You evaluate people. I'm sure people have been disappointed at you.
Me? Oh,
yeah. Don't you evaluate people?
People hate me.
Yeah.
But people really hate me.
So, I mean, even at a UK, for example, like my boss says, this is my expectation at the end of the year evaluation. Like you should publish, you should do all these things. So I'm assuming, well, academically, they're giving me expectation that within my academic realm, I should be able to do. So I already know from the beginning of the year, this is the standard. Now, if I don't do it, I don't get fired. Obviously, I've still been there 16 years later. But, it's nice to have a goal.
But the rain down in the corporate world, it starts with the idea at the top. It trickles all the way down. And by the time it gets down to you, it's something that's almost unrealistic to happen. And, sometimes it is realistic, but a lot of the times it's not realistic. And it's very difficult, and it leads to a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And then when you go and you ask for more of a budget, or you ask for more time, or this or that, it says, no, we need to meet Q1 or Q2. So managing those expectations, sometimes you can manage your boss's expectations, but can you manage his boss's expectations and his boss's? For us, for where I work, it's like we don't see the upper tiers, and sometimes you don't. But at the end of the day, like sometimes you got to tell your boss what's up. And fortunately for me, I haven't gotten fired yet.
Yeah.
Come very close
lucky.
to it.
Well, you
Very
got sent home.
Sent home's okay.
Sent home is okay.
You've sent me out of your class a couple
I
times.
have many times. Oh, you want to tell
No, it
them
was
when
two
I
times, two
I
times.
kicked you out twice?
Twice. Oh, once was the cell phone.
I kicked him out of my class.
I was messaging.
Would you like to know why? Yeah, go ahead. Tell them.
Would you want me to tell them when I was messaging her and you took my
Yeah,
phone?
exactly.
I was messaging her because we were going to go to Subway.
Oh, in my class, he's making plans.
I was setting up a lunch date. Hello. I was trying to get married. And then the second time, I almost got into a fist fight with my partner in a project because he didn't do anything in the presentation.
And because of that, I have changed the guidelines for the presentation.
Because literally, I almost threw a haymaker at this guy.
Yes.
She sent us both out of the class into a class by ourselves where we were this close to just going ham on each other. And it turned into me saying, dude, look, I want to salvage whatever I can out of this grade. So just get out of my face. But I said it in a completely different way. You can imagine what I said. Went back into the class. I delivered the presentation. He didn't deliver anything in that presentation. And Dr. Dinka still gave me the same exact grade she was going to give me, which was a C, which should have been an A. And it was on The Sopranos.
Obviously, he's still harboring some anger issues.
Oh, 100%.
10 years later.
100%. The presentation was on The Sopranos. It was the seagull or the pigeon flying away with Tony Soprano's private parts about male fallacy.
And you thought I was going to give you an A for that?
It was a good presentation. It was on masculinity.
Oh, well, good. I'm
Who
glad.
thinks that's a good presentation? Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about over there.
My students know I don't just give A's. You got to earn A's. And those are hard to get. But you learned a lot because of these experiments that I put you through.
Well, we are running one of the best fitness podcasts, health and wellness podcasts in the Middle East right now and in Kuwait.
That's right.
We're 200 episodes deep. We got many more coming out down the pipeline. And, we really appreciate you guys being a part of that right now. We really appreciate Volvo inviting us in here
That's right.
to
Thank you,
talk
Volvo.
about mental health, something that's really not discussed in public. And that's what the project's all about. It's breaking these barriers so that we can hopefully create a better society for everybody.
That's right. And we
That's
need
when
that.
you guys clap. There we go. I got to coach that cue. I paid them, just so you guys know. Any
So you
questions,
have any
guys?
questions? Any questions about psychology that I could answer?
Fitness, health, wellness,
2021.
how to lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks.
How to not lose and gain weight. Does anyone ever put anything on their list like how to gain 20 kilo next year? Like I always want, why is it always like they want to lose weight? Why is it never like I want to gain weight?
If you're a weightlifter or someone that struggles, like they're something, it's called a hard gainer in the fitness industry, and they exist. They just can't put on muscle mass. It's tough. It's really difficult. And at that point, sometimes you really just got to look at your exercise programming. If your program is off and you're not doing the right exercises that complement your body, sometimes that's going to set you back more than the food that you're eating. Should we tell everybody to go try CrossFit? Yeah, you guys should all give CrossFit a chance.
I thought
Or powerlifting. It's a lot more fun. You get more rest.
I think powerlifting better. CrossFit still exists?
Yes, CrossFit exists. CrossFit will always exist. As long as I can walk on my hands, it better exist.
I thought it was a dying sport.
See, your knees will, because that comes into recovery. You know, if you're recovering well, you know, you're all
Are
right.
you recovering well?
Oh no, my recovery lately has been horrible. Like, I'm the first to say. But it's been a struggle. When you go hardcore, you know, it catches up to you after a few months. You know, if you hit personal bests and PRs and your weights keep climbing, eventually your body will put on its own brakes and say, hey, stop, guys. You know, so, like, stop. Like, this is it. Let's wait, take 10 days off. And if you try and go back, you're just going to get frustrated. You know, sometimes I stare at a barbell and I'm like, I'm going to cry because I can't do this right now when I was doing it a week ago. But that's when you have to recalibrate your mindset and go back to the basics. And then 3 weeks later, you know what? You're doing double the weight. So it's always about taking those small steps. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and it works. You know, sometimes it's 1 step forward and you just keep moving along. But again, it depends on your genetics, your mindset, the time you allocate for these things, and what you're willing to put in. For me, CrossFit, I do it competitively. So am I going to do this my whole life? No. It's not for health and wellness the way I do CrossFit. Now, other people do CrossFit for health and wellness so they can move better. That I'm an advocate about. I'm an advocate about anything where it gets you moving, to be honest. You know, as long as you're moving, you're doing something right. And as long as you're moving some weight around, you're doing good things. And I would advocate strongman. Has anyone tried strongman here? No? Moving heavy, weird objects? That to me translates more than going in and doing bicep curls. It's picking up big, you know, stone balls, atlas balls, sandbags, yoke walks, overhead pressing. These are things that you'll do every day in life and that actually carry over versus doing a bicep curl. You know, when has everybody ever told you curl your grocery bag into the house? It's not going to happen often. But
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everyone who I owe money to, you can just make a line over here for clapping. Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, wait, t-shirt time.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Thank You, and join us next time.